So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Ghada Osman. I am a psychotherapist as well as a yoga therapist. And I have been on faculty at Om Home Shala now for over a decade. So we started offering yoga therapy as relates to mental health now almost like 12 years ago. So it's exciting to always to connect with you all in any format, and especially appreciate getting to connect with you in the midst of everything that may be going on day to day in your lives. So our time today will be spent more on kind of being in the moment, getting to may have some practices that kind of help us be in the moment. I know a couple of you are also interested in learning kind of about being this kind of work, not just experientially day to day. And so for those of you who may be students, I'm always happy to connect you at any other time to kind of talk more about that piece. So while we're here and while folks were interacting with the chat, if you could just take a moment to put in the chat one word or phrase that describes how you're feeling right now, how your body feels right now, and it can be anything, whatever comes to mind right away, whatever that might be. So just taking a moment there. Right, thank you. So I'm going to invite you to notice that. Notice what you're coming in with and the fact that you're here, which is the most important thing, regardless of what it is that was going on and how much you're juggling day to day. And I'm going to invite you now to notice that word or phrase that came to mind, where you notice that in your body. So for example, I might notice, let's say, some tension in my shoulders. So I'm personally aware of that. So just notice wherever it might be in your body, just one or two places, even if you notice more, one or two places where you're aware of that. But oh yeah, I really am aware that I have sensation here in my body. And from here, I'm now going to invite you to notice somewhere that feels neutral in your body, and it can be very small. So it can literally be that, you know what, the tip of my pinky feels neutral. Like I don't feel anything in particular there. So it can be anywhere in the body that just feels neutral. You don't notice any particular sensation in it. I'm being aware of that. And I'm going to invite you now to notice how you're sitting. And as much as you can, allowing your body to shift in any way that works for you so that it feels a little more neutral. May feel comfortable, may not necessarily feel comfortable, but just a little more neutral. So making whatever adjustments you need to. And yeah, some of you have your eyes closed, and so invitation to close your eyes at any time. If you would prefer to have your eyes open, feel free to have your eyes open and gaze comfortably anywhere that in your space feels neutral. So every so often you may need to look at me to see what I'm guiding, but otherwise allow your gaze to kind of go past the screen, what's happening on the screen, and wherever it might land that feels like a neutral place to land. And now from here, I'm going to invite us to come into a little bit of movement, beginning by bringing the chin to the chest. Notice how the slight movement feels in your body. And then rolling your head so the right ear comes over the right shoulder, noticing any sensations on that left side of the neck. Rolling the head back so the chin comes to the chest again. And over to the left side, left ear is over the left shoulder. And once more, chin comes to chest. Right ear comes to right shoulder. Chin comes to chest again. And left ear comes over the left shoulder. And now bringing the breath into it. Inhale here, and as you exhale, bringing the chin to the chest. Inhale here. And as you exhale, bringing the right ear over the right shoulder. Inhale here. And as you exhale, chin comes to chest. Inhale here, and as you exhale, left ear comes over the left shoulder. And now going at your own pace, just making sure that you allow space for the inhale and the exhale. Doesn't have to be exactly what I guided, just making sure you give space for an inhale and an exhale as you move through this cycle. So starting with the chin to the chest and then bringing the head to one side, chin to chest, head to the other. And next time that the right ear comes over the right shoulder, pausing here, take your time to get there. So wherever you are in your cycle, allowing yourself to land with the right ear over the right shoulder whenever it's time in the cycle. And now as you come here with the right ear over the right shoulder, I'm going to invite you to bring the left arm up. And we're going to bring the left arm up to 90 degrees while the right ear is over the right shoulder. Feel free to keep the arm at 90 and really reach for the fingertips or lower it a little bit. So take a few moments to bring the arm up and down until you land on a spot that feels like a pause point for breath. Notice the sensations here. And then bringing that left hand back to your lap, wherever it was. And then I'm now going to invite you to imagine that you have a soft object between your right ear and your right shoulder, and you're gently caressing it with your right ear. So just moving the head back and forth. Notice again sensations on that left side of the neck. Notice where you feel sensations. Notice what might feel more neutral. And bringing the head to stillness, rolling the head so the chin comes to the chest, pausing here for a moment. Allow the two sides of the body to readjust. So notice any difference between the two sides of the body. And then bringing the left ear over the left shoulder, noticing sensations on the right side of the neck. Notice how this side feels compared to the other side. And now bringing the right arm up any amount, might be at 90 degrees, might be a little lower. Reach through the fingertips and moving the arm up and down slowly, gently until you land in a spot where it feels like you're deepening the sensations potentially in the neck and the breath is flowing smoothly. Being mindful of not holding the breath. We hold our breath so much during the day. So allowing the breath to flow. as much as it can here. And bringing that right hand back to your lap, wherever it was. Imagine that you have that soft object now between the left ear and the left shoulder, gently caressing it with the left ear, moving the head back and forth. Notice where you feel sensation. Notice what might feel neutral, whether in this area or elsewhere in the body. And bringing the head to stillness, rolling the head so the chin comes to the chest, pause here. Notice the two sides of the body. Notice how it feels to pause here this time compared to the last time when we paused here. And bringing the head back up to center, up to neutral. And we're going to bring our awareness to our hands. So feel free, if you have your eyes closed, to open them just a little bit to track, and then there'll be an invitation to close them again. So I'm going to invite us first to rub the palms of the hands together. If that works for you today, notice the temperature between the hands. And when it feels like your hands have become relatively warm, to a degree that feels comfortable for you, bringing them over your face on each side. Notice the contact between the palms and the face. And I'm going to invite us now with the fingertips to gently caress the forehead in any way that feels like it fits today for you. The movements might be smaller, might be larger, might be faster, might be slower. Whatever it is that fits for you, wherever in your face. Maybe it actually feels more organic to move the fingers down from the forehead, whatever works for you. Notice again where you feel sensation, what feels neutral. And slowly continuing for another 30 seconds or so, and then stopping whenever you feel like you've reached a natural stopping point. And then I'm seeing some folks have moved with where I was going next. So I'll go ahead and go there verbally now, which is the neck. Feel free to bring the hands down to the neck, and same movement here, whatever feels like it fits for you right now. And just noticing this moment of care for your body in the midst of all that care that you're giving to others, whether one particular person or more in general. Continuing the movement with the neck, or if it feels like it fits for your body, to go a little further down so you're more towards the shoulders, whatever works for you without feeling like it's straining the body. So not only do we have different needs at different times, but we also have different proportions of our body. And so for some of us, basically different folks among us, it feels more comfortable to be touching one area versus another. So going with what works for you. Notice the shift in your body as you do this in any way. And now Releasing the movement, but keeping the hands on one place in the body where it feels at least neutral to have them there, potentially comfortable, at least neutral. Notice how the body feels. And I'm going to invite you now to, with your hands, imagine that you're releasing whatever you might need to release. The movement might be faster or slower, whatever fits for you in whatever way that movement feels like it fits. So you may be releasing by moving the hands, the arms, as I'm doing right now. You may be releasing by just staying in stillness and envisioning release, whatever it might be. And once you've done that, coming to stillness, if you're not there already, hands anywhere that feels comfortable for you. Pausing here for a moment, notice how your body feels. Notice the body's temperature. Noticing the areas that feel neutral. From here, we're going to shift our awareness now to different parts of our face. So much of the way we feel is reflected on our face, right? We interpret facial expressions, and facial expressions are very much about what different areas of our face are doing. Right? So I'm going to invite us to begin with the eyes. So if your eyes have been closed, allowing them to open just for a moment, and then there'll be an invitation to close them again if you would prefer. I'm going to invite you to take a breath in as you look straight ahead. And then on the exhale, I'm going to invite you just to move the eyes all the way over to the right. Notice what the last thing is that you see on the right. Bring your eyes back to center, and then bringing them over to the left and noticing what is all the way over in your peripheral vision, all the way over to the left. And now bringing the eyes back to center. And now allowing the movement to involve the head as well, turning the head to look over your right. Note farthest to the right that you see. And then coming back to center and noticing the farthest to the left that you see. And coming back to center. Now involving a little more of the body. Inhaling here, exhaling. And as much as works for how you're seated, bringing your hands so that you're in a little bit of a twist on the chair, any amount. So maybe one hand comes on an armrest, your right hand's on an armrest, or behind you, if you're in more kind of a kitchen chair type seat, wherever it might be where that right hand lands, left hand is solid on your body. And again, looking all the way over to your right, noticing what the farthest is to the right that you can see. So I'm just turning so that you can hear me better and I can see you all for a moment, but keeping your gaze all the way over to the right. And coming back to center. And over to the other side, allowing the left hand to come behind you if that works for you, if you're in a chair that allows for that, or on an armrest if you have an armrest. Right hand comes anywhere on the body, looking all the way over to the left, as far as works for your body today. Noticing that change of perspective from how we typically are looking. And coming back to center, pausing here for a moment and notice which version felt like it flowed more for your body, just moving the eyes, just moving the head, or moving the entire body. And now in your own time coming into that, and feel free to close your eyes if you would prefer now and just envisioning the eyes looking all the way over to the right, but not necessarily having them open if you would prefer. But whatever version, allowing that shift in your body over to the right. Notice the breath, allowing the breath to flow smoothly. And coming back to center in your own time, over to the other side, eyes open or closed. And coming back to center in your own time, pause here again for a moment, taking a breath in and a breath out. And I'm going to invite us now, as we slowly come back to center, notice the areas in the body where you felt sensation at the start of our practice today. Just noticing them. Noticing the area where things felt neutral. And from here, bringing the attention now to the jaw. Going to invite us to make some movements with the jaw, which we rarely do day to day, right? Most of the movements that we do are eating, talking, or movements that we make eating, talking, and clenching, which we do a lot of, right? Especially during difficult times. So I'm going to invite us to come into a few other movements here, beginning by opening the mouth and just closing it again. And then this time, opening the mouth and just moving the jaw side to side like this. Notice the body. Notice how it feels to do this. If your body invites a yawn, feel free to go with that. Notice how strange it might feel to be doing this. And then as you make the movement, feel free to involve the arms by stretching them in any way you would like as you make the mouth movements. It ends up feeling like some sort of unusual creature, and that totally works. And bringing the mouth to stillness, bringing the arms to stillness for a moment, pausing here. And then now I'm inviting you to come into whatever movement your arms would like to come into. So really exploring that and noticing how that impacts the body. So throughout the day when we're doing so much, and when our focus especially is on the needs of others, sometimes just one small movement can shift our energy and how our body feels. So notice as you explore right now what that movement might be, where you feel like, oh, when I move my arm in this way, I actually notice the difference in my body. And bringing the movement to a close, whatever it might be. And then once you're there, allowing yourself to roll the shoulders a few times. Notice the impact of that movement on your body. Notice if there are any sounds you're aware of as you roll the shoulders, any sensations. Pausing for a moment, taking a breath in and a breath out. And again, notice the impact on the body. Notice the body's temperature. Notice where you might feel sensations in the body and what might feel neutral in the body. Inviting you now to bring the left hand and place it on the right shoulder or near the right shoulder. It might be more the front of the chest, or it might be more on the shoulder. Or if it works for you to bring it past the shoulder, as long as that doesn't create tightness in the neck, that works too. So much of this is just about our proportions. And then once you're here, bring that right shoulder up, around, and back like we were just doing. Allowing the movement to be small and controlled as you do this. So being mindful that that left hand is providing support as we're moving the shoulder. Movement of the shoulder can be any pace that works for you as long as it's controlled. And bringing that right arm to stillness. Release the left hand, pause with both hands down on your lap or anywhere that's comfortable. And again, notice the difference between the two sides of the body. Notice the right arm, notice the left arm. Notice the breath and taking a long, deep breath. Switching over to the other side, right hand comes either on the left shoulder, in front of the shoulder, kind of more on the shoulder blade, whatever works for your body, might be different from the other side. And then once you're ready, making circles with that left shoulder, again, movement is mindful, controlled. Feel free to make the movement as large as you would like, as small as you would like, as fast or slow, but just being very mindful and controlled in that movement. And gradually bringing that movement to stillness. And releasing the left arm down, right arm down. Again, notice the two sides. Notice sensations in the body. Notice what feels neutral. And taking a breath in and a breath out. And from here, we're going to bring the awareness now to the lower body. So if you're sitting pretty close to a desk or a table, as I am, moving back just a little bit. You don't need to move back a lot. So for example, you'll notice here I'm pretty close to the desk, but just so you have a little bit of room where your legs can move past the surface in front of you. And from here, as much as works for you, bringing the right leg up any amount. So I may be lifting mine more than you would feel comfortable, just for you to be able to see it more easily. And once you've lifted the leg, placing the hands anywhere on the leg for a moment. And then on an inhale, here. And then on an exhale, straighten the leg any amount. So leg comes towards straight any amount, just making sure it's not super straight. Inhale back to center, bringing it back to neutral, exhaling, lowering it down. Same leg again. Now inhaling, lifting any amount, could literally be just an inch off the floor. And then exhale, straightening at any amount. Inhale, bend the knee again. Exhale down. One more time this side. Inhale, lift any amount. Exhale, straighten any amount. Inhale, bend any amount. Exhale, right foot comes to the floor. Pausing here for a moment, hands come on your lap. And again, feel free to close the eyes. Notice how the two sides of the body feel. And preparing to come to the left side, lifting the left leg any amount, hands around the leg. And then on an exhale, working the leg towards being straight, but doesn't have to be anywhere near straight, but just straightening a little bit. Inhale, bend again. Exhale, lower down. And two more times here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, lower. And last time this side, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lower the foot. Pause here. Again, hands on the lap. Notice the body. Notice the right side of the body. Notice the left side of the body. And taking a breath in and a breath out. And now pressing the feet into the floor as much as works for you. If your feet are making contact with the floor. And whether they're making contact with the floor or not, really feeling that grounding, that stability, your strength. And then along with that, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling as much as you can. And allowing the upper body to move in any way that feels natural for you and noticing your flexibility. So these two things together are what move us day to day, right? Our strength, our solid presence, our stability with our flexibility, with all the shifts that we have to make, all the adjustments that we may have to make day to day, radically different potentially this year compared to last year, compared to previous years, just noticing those shifts, that flexibility. Bringing the upper body now to stillness. I'm going to invite us to take a breath in and a breath out. And now that we've noticed that flexibility of the upper body, coming into the twist that we were just in a little while ago, I'm going to invite you first of all to come into the one where as we inhale, we exhale, and just the head looks over the right shoulder. And notice how far the eyes see this time. Maybe the same as last time, maybe different. So just the head. And back to center. And inhale here, exhale over to the other side. And again, notice how far the eyes might see. Might be different, might be the same as the last time, just being aware. And back to center. And now inhale here, exhale, bring the torso over to your right. If it works to bring the right hand behind you on the back of a chair or on an armrest to aid the body in twisting a little bit more to the right. Again, allow the eyes, that's the most important part of the twist, to look all the way over to your right. Notice the furthest point of your peripheral vision. And coming back to center. And inhaling here, exhaling over to the left. Again, most relevant part of the twist is the eyes all the way to the left. Notice the peripheral vision. What's the outermost point you notice? And coming back to center. Once you're at center, taking your time to take a breath in and a breath out. And now, as you come here to the seated position at center, I'm going to invite you to come into whatever movement your body would like to come into that feels natural. From here, we're going to transition to a contraction release and a little bit of stillness. So if there's any place in your body, any kind of movement that feels like it would be natural for your body right now, feel free to come into that. Whatever it might be. You're the best judge of what your body needs. And then eventually coming to that neutral position again. And now we'll come into a contraction release. So as I guide us through the contraction release, feel free to contract the part of the body that we're on as much as works for you. So some of them, it might feel that you can contract them really hard, and then we're going to contract each. Take a breath in through the nose and exhale with a sigh through the mouth, and release the contraction. So contract as much as works for you. If we get to a body part and it feels like it doesn't work for your body to contract it at all, let's say I'm guiding us to make the hands into fists and that doesn't work for your hand to do that, then feel free to come into a much gentler version of the movement, or perhaps you just have a gentle fist rather than a tight contraction. So beginning the contraction release sequence with the feet. So imagining you're trying to pick something up off the floor with your feet, so contracting the feet tightly. So the foot might look a little bit like this as you contract it. So contracting tightly, as much as works for your body. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh, and release the contraction. Feet come back to neutral, back to normal. And now, as much as you can, flexing the feet so the toes come in towards the body. So the foot is now more like this. Toes come in towards the body. And tightening your leg muscles any amount. Whatever access there is to tightening any leg muscles. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. And release. Notice the difference between how your lower body feels and how your upper body feels. Shifting to the upper body now to the abs, so contracting your abs really, really tightly. Imagining that it's as if you are putting on clothing that is small, and so contracting the abs there. Tight, tight, tight. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. And release. And bringing your awareness to your hands, your arms, making fists that are as tight as works for you, keeping the hands down so they're by your sides or on your lap. I'm just lifting mine so folks can see if they wish. And contracting the arm muscles as tightly as you can. Tight, 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 tight. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. And release. And finally, your head, your neck, your shoulders. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears, any amount. and contracting your facial muscles. So puckering up your eyes, your nose, your mouth, everything really, really tight, 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 tight. Inhale through the nose. Exhale with a sigh. And release. Pausing here for a minute. Allow your body to become as neutral, as relaxed as fits for you right now, knowing this is your time, your moment. So during this next minute or so, let your body relax into your space. Notice your breath and allow yourself to just be here. And now, while maintaining that feeling, the internal feeling of the muscles, where they're as neutral, as relaxed as the moment will allow, we're going to gently invite some movement back while maintaining that feeling. And we're going to begin with a very small movement. So keeping your fingers where they are, I'm just lifting mine so you can see. Beginning to very slowly move the fingers, the forefinger and the thumb, making very slight motions. And from here, allowing the middle finger to touch the thumb, and again, slow circular motions. And the ring finger touches the thumb, slow circular motions. And the pinky touches the thumb, slow circular motions. And now separating the pinky and the thumb and making slow circular motions with the entire hand around the wrist. And going in the opposite direction. Bringing the hands to stillness from this motion and then bringing them together and once more rubbing the palms of the hands together until they've become pretty warm. And once more bringing them over the face. Notice the contact between the palms and the face. Notice the body's temperature, your energy level. Releasing the hands onto the lap. And if you have been on the floor, rolling over onto one side and coming up to seated. For those of us in a chair, allowing the spine to now become a little straighter, allowing the shoulders to relax. And now from here, bringing the chin to the chest. Rolling the head over to the right ear is over the right shoulder. Rolling the head back to center, so the chin to the chest. And rolling the head over to the left, so left ear is over left shoulder. And bringing the chin to the chest. As your gaze is down here, lifting it just a little bit so that you can look at the hands. And allow the hands to come towards each other so they're not touching but close. And now coming into a breath here where we inhale for 1, hands come a little apart. 2, they come even further apart. 3, even further apart. And 4, even further apart. And then exhaling for 4, hands come towards each other. 3, even closer. 2, even closer. 1, they're towards each other but not touching. 3 more times here, inhaling for 1 as the hands come apart. 2, even further apart. 3, further apart. And 4, further apart. And on the exhale, with each number, they come closer together. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue now 2 more times at your own pace with each number. As you count 1 to 4, the hands come farther. And as you count down 4 to 1, hands come closer. Feel free to go more slowly than I've been guiding, just being mindful not to go too much faster. The last time when the hands come towards each other, pausing here, noticing the distance between the hands. And almost as if your hands are kind of like an accordion, just allow them to just go in and out a few times. Notice that. And from here, notice the sensation. And then bringing the hands onto the heart center and pausing here for a moment. Checking in with the body. Noticing one word that describes how your body feels right now. It may be similar to the start of our time together. It may be different. Notice what feels neutral in the body. And then bringing your awareness back into the space. If your eyes were closed, allowing them to open very slowly, very gradually. Allow your gaze to come back to the screen. From here, very slowly, very gently, that word that might have come to mind, the phrase of how your body is feeling right now. If you're open to sharing that in the chat, please come near your device and share that in the chat. Thank you. So as we come to the end of our time together today in community, Going to invite us to come into that breath one more time, knowing that you can take this with you anytime, and you really only have to do it once, even potentially for bringing ourselves back to the moment. So the hands are farther apart, but relatively close, but not touching. And then as we inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And even in times when we're in a hurry, when literally all we have is 10 seconds, I can still come into 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that took me less than 10 seconds. So one more time at your own pace, separating the hands as you count 1 to 4 and bringing them towards each other as you count 4 to 1. And once you've completed the cycle, if you wish, bringing the palms together in front of the heart center, or hands over each other, over the heart, or hands on your lap, whichever you would prefer. If it fits for you to close with the traditional greeting in yoga, namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Namaste. I know that there is a little logistical piece where Tony's going to put in the chat, the evaluation testimonial. If you all could please take a moment to fill that out as well. And inviting us kind of back into the space and into the logical mind to do this while Tony puts it in the chat by just taking a moment to kind of look around your space, adjusting back, allowing yourself to literally touch a few things in the space, kind of reground into the space. And allowing yourself to interlace the hands, reach up any amount, might be all the way up, might be more forward, might be more in, whatever feels like it fits for your body right now. And releasing that. And thank you so much again for being with me this afternoon. Appreciate your presence. I look forward to seeing you next time. All right. I will go ahead and log off while you all fill the evaluation, so I am not sitting here watching while everybody does it. Happy to connect with anybody at any time, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Good to see you all.